The coronavirus pandemic has made it more difficult for many Americans to put food on the table. According to the nonprofit group Feeding America, more than 50 million people could face hunger before the end of the year, and that includes 17 million children. The problem reaches every community in the country, and many of the people dealing with it don't qualify for federal help. For more on this, I want to bring in Mike Curtin Jr. He's the CEO of DC Central Kitchen. Mike, thank you for joining us. First, can you tell us a little bit about your organization and what you do in the DC area?
Food-based social enterprise. We produce thousands of meals every day for partner social service agencies, nonprofits, homeless shelters, transitional homes, using food that otherwise, predominantly food that would otherwise go to waste. But while we're doing that, and this is the most important thing, is we run a culinary job training program for individuals who have faced significant barriers to employment, barriers like histories of incarceration, addiction, trafficking, homelessness, or other traumas, to work with them to get to a place where they don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from.
And let me ask you, have you seen the situation change during the pandemic when it comes to hunger? Is it getting worse, in your opinion?
It's getting much worse. It's reminiscent of what we saw in 2008, 2009. There is the area where people are food insecure and where they're just one paycheck away from becoming food insecure continues to grow. And where DC is projecting now that food insecure households will increase by 60% next year. That will include another 12,000 children, to the already 1 in 3 children in the District of Columbia, our nation's capital, that are food insecure.
Many kids, of course, depend on schools and school lunches and breakfasts to fill their stomachs. But, of course, many of them are out of class, so they miss out on those meals. How critical is that problem, and what can people do in their communities to help?
Sure. So this is a huge problem, Omar, probably one of the biggest that we're dealing with right now. Pre-COVID times, we were doing about 4,500 locally sourced scratch-cooked meals in DC schools a day. That number is down into the low hundreds now. As you said, these kids are not in school. They're not coming to school to get to lunches. So we've started programs with some grassroots nonprofits. Streaming Out Loud is one, as well as our friend Jose Andreas and World Central Kitchen, where we are actually going out into the communities and setting up mobile feeding sites to try to reach these kids. But it's still a struggle. It's still a challenge. I think that for anyone should connect with their local school district. Schools, we are doing meals for pickup in these schools, but people they either don't know about it, they can't access it. The kids' school day is very compact, so they have a very short window where they could actually leave their homes to get to schools. In the district in particular, about half the school students are in charter schools, so they could be going to school on the other side of the city, but that's the school they have to go to access the meals. So there's a lot of rules and regulations, too, that are making this much more difficult. But as you say, this is a really, really dangerous time, because we know for a fact that this is where kids get most of their nutritional calories, is at school.
We've read the reporting that a lot of households are experiencing food insecurity, but they may not qualify for federal nutrition programs, and they have to lean on their local food banks for help. Are food pantries feeling overwhelmed by the demand at this point?
Absolutely. We're seeing it everywhere. As you said, these rules with the SNAP and how much income one can make before they become ineligible. It is a tough needle to thread. And all of the food banks and food pantries that we work with are stretched thin. One of the things that we've tried really hard to do during this pandemic over the last 8 months is make sub-grants, grant some of the philanthropy that's been coming to us through the incredible generosity we've seen in this community. But DC Central Kitchen has been around for 32 years. People know our name. They know what we do. But there are these grassroots organizations that are really doing tremendous work but just don't have the resources. So we're taking everything that we're getting from the community and making sure we're putting it into the places where it can be most effective immediately to meet the needs that we're seeing grow every single day.
And COVID-19 has obviously affected the economy big time, so People are out of work, especially this time of year where they may be picking up some holiday work. And it's the first time a lot of people are needing help. What would you tell those people to provide some level of comfort? Because sometimes pride may get in the way or think, I can skip it. What do you tell those people who may have never needed help, but now need it?
Sure. Right. And that, as I said earlier, that number is growing and growing. That band of the economy of our community is getting wider and wider. So I think what people really need to know is that organizations like DC Central Kitchen and these other grassroots organizations are there to help. This is why we exist. This is what we do 365 days a year. We've been doing it for decades. And we are not there to judge. We're there to help people get from one place to the next to get to that better place. And we want to be there, and we can do it. We can work together to get to that better place. But people really need to access those resources. So I think you can reach out to pantries, you can reach out to faith-based groups in your neighborhood or your community. There's so many people out there that want to help their neighbors get to that better place, especially this time of year. So if you're in doubt, if you're in need, please reach out, because there's help there to get to a better tomorrow.
Vice President-elect Kamala Harris and her husband Doug Emhoff visited your facility last week, and Emhoff said he's going to make food insecurity a top issue as the second gentleman. What would you tell him about the situation, not only in D.C., but in the country, and what needs to be done, especially in such a high-profile position there?
Sure. Well, I would say the first thing that we have to realize is how widespread this problem is. This is not something that is in small pockets of the community. It is everywhere. And when Washington, D.C., where I am, one of the highest household median incomes in the country, yet almost 15% of the population here is food insecure. And 11% of the area in D.C. has been classified by the USDA as a food desert. That's unconscionable. And so if we're talking about the nation's capital, one of the most visible areas in our country that is suffering like that, we have to understand that this is a huge problem. And we really are going to have to do some serious thinking about policy, about support, about how government can work directly and productively with nonprofits instead of making it more difficult to work together. But I do look forward to working with Doug and the Vice President and the administration on all of these issues.
Mike Curtin, Jr., thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Omar. My pleasure. Thank you.